Hello there, this is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today. These are the three cards that we will be making, and I'm using the Translucent Florals Suite Collection, which is currently on the clearance rack over at my website, so take a look at that. I wanted to get some more mileage out of this, and our cards are going to be using this week collection, but the first card is going to be like a very simple, clean and simple one, kind of like a beginner card. And the second is going to be a step up from that. And then the third card is going to be yet another step up from that. So we got the sweet collection, but I brought in like a half-inch piece of paper from the Lighter Than Air sweet collection that was released in last year's catalog. It was a 23 to 24. And if a bundle's carrying over or part of a suite collection, I'm going to keep everything involved in that suite collection, which included that paper, because those balloons carried over. So this is part of the Translucent Floral Suite collection. I've got a few online exclusive products in there outside of this, of the dragonflies and the birds. But the colors in this suite collection are Berry Burst, Blackberry Bliss, Bubble Bath, Calypso Coral, Fresh Freesia, Lemon Lolly, Parakeet Party, which was an in color that left us last year, Pool Party, and then Pretty Peacock. Our three card bases are going to all be in Fresh Freesia, and they're going to be top folding A2, which is 4 1/4 across by 5 1/2 down. I took one 6x6 piece of designer series paper, Delightful Floral, from that sweet collection, slash bundle of that pattern there. And then from the Lighter and Air, that Lemon Lolly on the right. But I'm going to layer on a piece of basic white cardstock on top of the Fresh Freesia. So I've got a 6x6 piece of cardstock, or DSP, like I said there. And I need 3 1-inch strips from that, because they're all going to be used on the right. I have the same layout for every single card, just different elements on it. I personally like my stripes cut on the vertical. I cut 3 here just in case. I only end up using 1. And when we do our first card, you're going to see me lay that down, but don't pay any attention to that. I use it to like set my card up basically. Grab the bone folder, putting a nice crease there, and that is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of basic white regular cardstock. And I'm only going to use one image and one sentiment for all these cards. But this is a great stamp set though. I mean, there's so much more I could have done with this. So when I'm lining my image panel there up on the stamp apparatus, I know that I cut my designer series paper to 1 inch, so I want to keep my left edge over to 1 inch to help me line up that stem there, which of course kind of gets wonky on me a little bit because I brought in that Lemon Lolly piece of card or designer series paper there and did not use it on this card, but it did turn out. But when you see the final image of the card, because this one is really short, clean and simple, you could grab some of the ribbon that we're going to use on our other 2 cards, tie that into a bow, and pop it at the bottom there if that line's bugging you. It didn't bug me, and I'm neurotic, so, but options. So I got our image down there in Fresh Freesia. Do I lay it down once or twice or 3 times? I'm not quite sure. I guess I don't. So I'm cleaning that up right now. And yeah, I guess I do line it up again. Oh, I had some embossing powder on there from earlier, or like some clear powder, so I was kind of struggling with getting the grit out of that a little bit. And that ink pad's a little bit dry too. So I got that down 3 times. And now I'm just going to kind of manipulate the stamp apparatus around a little bit, get my L corners going there, and take some liquid adhesive. After I cut every single one of those pieces I cut earlier down to 5 1/2, because I forgot to do that. So you want it by 1 inch across by 5 1/2 inches down. So once I get that done, I'm going to put liquid adhesive on the back of the designer series paper there, and my glue is gloppy because I'm almost out. So I kind of like ran over the side of my garbage can real quick on the left and rubbed it off on the plastic glad bag part so it wouldn't go oozing everywhere. And it worked out just fine. But see where I turn it around and where that stem barely fits underneath the designer series paper? That's where I was saying where you can maybe just grab some of our ribbon and put a bow there because we are going to have fresh freesia ribbon on our other two cards. So now I am going to put seal on the back of the image panel, get that adhered down, and you've heard me talk about alternating my adhesives before because a lot of liquid adhesive, it'll get kind of, it makes it bulky and not stand up right, at least in my opinion. Some people can pull that off. I can't. I mean, I don't know. So another thing I had to correct right now is my cuts were right. Sometimes you just score wrong, and that's what happened here on the card base. So I'm taking like maybe a 32nd of an inch off both sides there to make sure everything gets lined up. Going to pop our card back into the Stamparatus there. And all I'm doing from here on out is I'm going to put "You're the Best" at the bottom right there, Memento Tuxedo Black, and then grab a little teeny, not a brass butterfly, but you know, the gold toned, they're self-adhesive dragonfly there. And that's going to get popped up over by the flower. So while I'm getting all this together, I have the skinny for you on a new in color that's coming out in May 2025 to 2027. And they're bringing it back from 2013 to 2015. And I'm going to flash you the colors sometime in this video, so pay attention to that. But just give you a heads up, there was I really wish they would bring back all those colors from that year, to tell you the truth. One of them, Coastal Cabana, is in our lineup now. Thank God for that, because that's a great color. So for second card, we have our card base there, and I already ran through the painted texture embossing folder with white cardstock, our image panel there, and again the same image. And this time around, we're going to be using Berry Burst Bubble Bath and Fresh Freeze again. And I got the stem lined up. I'm going to lay that down in Berry Burst. It's really up to you if you want to stamp first and then run it through your embossing folder. I just kind of prepped ahead a little bit, so that's why I did that. But considering how dark that color is, I'm okay with that kind of texture to the right with that. And this is where I'm going to do the sentiments for card numbers 2 and 3, or this card, the next card. I'm laying it down and I measured out from the Y and the left-hand side of the cardstock there. That's like 5/8 of an inch. So I'm going to lay that down twice in Memento Tuxedo Black. You see me lift up kind of the right-hand side or the left-hand side a little bit and press down on the right. My Your was darker than the best, and that's how I kind of make it work a little bit in a weird way, but it still does work. So again, both sides on the left, I have 5/8 of an inch. So what I'm going to do now, after I get that stamp cleaned up, is I'm going to pull in my ruler and get that down onto my glass grid mat there. Secure that with like a little bit of low tack tape, and measure from the T on over 5/8 of an inch, make a little tick mark, and do that on both sides. Then I am going to bring my paper trimmer in and then cut both of those down like where I put the tick mark at. But I think I gotta grab my ruler again. Okay, yeah, it's 1/2 inch, and then oh, left to right. an even 2.5. So I got that down, and this punch is retired. To me, it is a basic staple, especially with that banner, and it's just easier to do. You could use your die cuts and do partial die cutting to get the exact length and width that you want to do. This sounds terrible. I'm just too lazy to do it, and I already have it. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with that. So I got our sentiments down, and now I want to lay down two more of our image there in a bubble bath and fresh freezer. And I'm going to lay them both down a couple times. Okay, that is the fresh freezer. That one I stack up like I did on card number one. Now for the is it the bubble bath, or it is the bubble bath. When I do that, it is good. Look at my pad right there. And you can kind of see how blotchy it is in the middle there. Something happened. I don't know what happened. But the ink is not even. Got to fix the cardstock there. And when I lay that down, it's just ugly. Not doing that. So I cleaned the stamp, cut the paper in half. And instead of doing the smart thing, I kind of went primitive here and ended up slamming down, well, slamming is not the right word, but pressing very hard my ink pad 3 times to de-ink it a little bit, when what I really should have done is grab a bone folder and drag the ink to the sides, or left and right of the pad on the long side, because that way when you do an ink blending with a brush, you can grab your ink from there and nothing's wasted. So um, don't do what I did. So while I'm getting our image there stamped and die cut out, I want to talk a little bit more about that new in color, old new in color that's coming back in. It's actually, no, I can't tell you, that's right. Anyhow, related to that, my girlfriend and I, Lisa Harden, she's in Boise, Idaho, we are going to get together and collaborate on this huge class with at least 10 to 12 projects. There's going to be scrapbooking pages, cards, of course, 3D, home decor, boxes, bags, tags, you name it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. But the suite collection we're focusing on does have that new in color coming up on it. And that's going to be part of the online exclusives for March of 2025. That's coming up in about, well, actually 9 days from the time you see this video. So take a look at that. And it's the one with the little suitcases in it. Those 3D boxes that come along with the suite collection as well. Kind of like the reindeer boxes did in the holiday catalog there. And we know how much fun they were. And they also carried over. So I'm getting together this card now after getting everything, the images here down, all of them with liquid adhesive. Snip the ends off the branches there, so to speak, a little bit, just to make everything work out. And this ribbon is from Sale-A-Bration, which is going away at the end of this month, and it's fresh freesia seam binding. And I might have to hold on to this because I'm a huge fan of seam binding, as you know. Getting that lined up around the back so I can tape it down with some tape there. And it's ribbon, my usual comedy of errors. I'm not going to let you down here with this. And after the entire spool is just rolling and I'm cutting and, call it a Cindy Bear or whatever, it's like, I'm not dealing with this. Or did I deal with it on screen? I think I fixed it. I should know this because I just did this like a couple hours ago and I'm doing the voiceover. Okay, so right now I'm like trying to figure out where I want to put my sentiment down, and that is going to go down with Stampin' Dimensionals, moving the bow down a little bit after I figured it out. And do I pull this off screen again or actually tie it? I'm not quite sure. I'm not looking ahead. And I did it. Okay, so yeah, yay me. Got that done, fixing the tails, and I'm hoping I'm pre-bragging here. I am pre-bragging. Okay, took it off screen. You know what happened there? My tail of the ribbon at the top was too short. So I ended up pulling the bottom all the way over, taped that to the back, cut another length of ribbon, made a cheater's bow. Didn't want to have you suffer through that, and so that's what happened with that. Got our sentiment down, and now I'm going to put the image panel down with seal adhesive, and this time around, I'm going to pull in a silver sparkle dot and put that to the top right of the sentiment, because I did move it a little bit because I laid it down crookedly, and my nail kind of made a dent, and that's a perfect way to cover it up. You just fake it. I do that so much um, with card making. I mean, we all do. You know how that goes. And then I'm going to pull in two of our little birds there, and they're going to face like opposite of each other. That one's going to go to the right, and then the one at the top is going to go to the left, and that will make card number 2. As I'm getting ready to pull in card number 3 here, next Saturday we will be doing our paper pumpkin alternatives for the February 2025 kit called Hello Spring. And on Wednesday, I will have an unboxing video for you on that, so be sure to come back and visit me then. And I'll show you the cards that come out of the kit. So I showed you the colors that we're doing: Calypso Coral, Lemon Lolly, and Fresh Freesia. I have the brush tip end of a Stampin' Right basic black marker there, and I'm using the cap to like flick on little black splatters onto our embossed image panel there. I don't know why I was twisting and turning that around. I'm going to build up our side there. Once again, we're using that same cardstock, 1 inch, and this time I'm going to bring in that 1/2 inch by 5.5 piece of designer series paper from Lighter Than Air. It didn't carry over. It's just retired, but the bundle did. But we do have a lot of other designer series paper with lemon lolly in it, or whatever color that you want. And with the colors in the Sweet collection, just there's so much you can do with this. But I'm trying to keep these a little bit simple for a video, and hopefully you get some good ideas. This kind of sketch to me is something that's really, really timeless. You can use it with pretty much anything and everything that we have there. So this time I got kind of smart about the ribbon, so I could flip it right over and pull in some basic household scotch tape and lay that down. So with the last bow, I'm not doing this on screen, tying another bow. So I'm going to take the tape off there and pull in the die cut to cut out all 3 of our images there. Okay, that's where I did the bow off, screen there. Adhere the image panel to the top of the card base, and this is where I'm going to stamp our image 3 times, and that is going to be in Calypso Coral, Lemon Lolly, and then Fresh Freesia. And speaking of paper pumpkin, the gal who won my January kit, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, but I did respond to your comment. You said you emailed me. It must have gone to spam. I didn't pay attention, emptied it out. So email me again, or maybe send me your email address or something like that. We'll wing it. But if you go to my do I have my phone number on my website? No, I don't. We'll figure it out and wing it. I don't like throwing my phone number out there because, the spam and everything like that. And apparently I'm still stamping down our images. And this is when I am going to go ahead and take everything off screen and get those images die cut out. While I'm doing that, real quick, mention again about the workshop that Lisa Hard and I have coming up. Be sure to check her out on Facebook, Instagram, usual social media places like that, and you'll love her work as much as I do. So for these three images, I'm going to go back to the second card, by the way, real quick. If I had a redo of that, I probably would have put stamped dimensionals on the very tips of some of those leaves there to get some extra dimension. But with this one here, they are going to go down with liquid adhesive and stamped dimensionals. If I had a redo again, I would have staggered those images a lot more than I did because they're kind of like straight across all the way. And I I like interest to my cards, and I think that would have made it more interesting. But you know what? It still worked out. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk too much. Getting everything lined up there, and I'm pulling the stamp dimensionals off the back of that, and going to sneak that in under, and just get those images, put together and assembled. Now, one thing, it took me long enough to learn this, is it's easier to add adhesive than to take it away because then it becomes a sticky mess and it's just a drag to deal with. And I got the lemon lolly image down there, and I kind of needed something a little bit over towards the right, a stamp dimensional, because when you lay down images with dimension on them, you want to keep your elevations correct. So it's just not all puffy and weird and distorted. That's a weird word. Okay, so I'm getting everything figured out there. Got my adhesive down and my glue down so that way everything lays correctly. That's why I should have said in the first place. I'm going to snip the ends of our images there, take the dimensionals off the back of our sentiment, get that down. One little embellishment of a dragonfly at the bottom right, and we will be done with this card. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video and got some good ideas. I really like the color combinations in this week collection because it includes all of our color families. So I will see you again on Wednesday for the paper pumpkin reveal. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Be sure to leave me a comment. And oh, there's that little in color coming up. I will see you again next week. Have a great weekend.